Do you want to interview while he's on the teat?
I don't care.
Well, I also don't care.
It's the only way to get him to be quiet.
I don't have much planned, but I just wanted to kind of unfiltered. What are your thoughts on the whole attention that the Father's Guild's getting?
What?
Yeah.
No, I need like more specific questions.
Well,
on that. What do you
okay.
mean, like? Because I don't really have much opinion. Like, I think it's great.
You think it's
Why don't
great?
you ask me like a more direct question?
More direct question.
Like
Like
the negative attention or the part? Like what? What about the attention?
No, how about, is there anything context-wise you think I should put out there that people need to know for me and this channel and the maybe the challenge? How about this? What is your thoughts on the no yelling challenge?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great challenge. I don't like the yelling.
Right. And
It's my, I mean, I won't say only, but pretty much my only, other than like the farting jokes and like the wiener jokes and
the good ones, the good stuff. Those are your
The,
favorite,
like-
is what you were saying, right?
like the video games and those things
What do you mean?
that I don't like.
Oh,
It's my least favorite thing about you as a father.
so,
I mean, all those other things don't really matter,
No.
but the yelling does matter.
right. What about the, like, frequency-wise, what do you think yelling was like for me?
I don't know if it was so much the frequency that was the concern. It was the inconsistency of the yelling. It was like the not knowing when you were going to yell. It would be dependent on, I don't know what it was dependent on, because sometimes you would yell in a situation that you wouldn't yell the day before. And so I would kind of get my back up a little bit if something happened, thinking, oh no, he's going to yell, he's going to yell, he's going to yell. And then you just won't yell. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because if they had have done something like that 2 days ago, he would have yelled at them. And then I immediately go into like, because it makes me feel really uncomfortable, and I immediately want to like protect them from you yelling at them, but at the same time I don't want to overstep you as a parent, because you're also, you know, like I want us to be seen to be on the same side.
Right.
So I don't want to yell at you for yelling at them. So I usually just don't say anything, or I'll like touch you on your shoulder, and you kind of, I think you already know, like, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
It's enough for you to just like kind of stop or just go quiet. So yeah, I don't know about the frequency of it. I can't really put but it was sort of like a little bit walking on eggshells when they would do something that may or may not bother you.
Right. And could you articulate what would something that I would yell for would be?
Oh, I think that the biggest thing that you would always yell for would be especially if an older sibling is kind of bullying a younger one, or there's some sort of violence happening where it's an unfair power struggle.
Right.
So like sometimes the yelling may be warranted.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying that the yelling was always bad, like sometimes, but I just know as a child being yelled at, it was terrifying for me. And when I see the look on their faces when you yell at them as someone that they look up to so much, it's just so sad.
What do you think about the argument that there should be an understanding that your father carries power, or is to some degree scary? Like you don't want to do things to step out of that line.
Well, I don't know how you create that. Like, I think I was scared of my father, but that's because I grew up in a different household to what we have. We were, you know, smacked with a wooden spoon. If we swore, we had like soap put in our mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And like I see my father now, and he's such a gentle person. And I'm like shocked that he actually did that. But I think that's just because that was probably what was modeled for him, and that's what he did.
I mean, based off that, you turned out pretty amazing. So couldn't you say that might be a warranted thing?
No, because see how I get totally triggered when you yell at the kids, and I hate it. Like I hate it. It's a it doesn't do it, it's like it doesn't have the response that anybody is hoping for. All it does is take the trust out of the child, and behind your back, when something happens, if someone does something that they know they shouldn't have, or if they break something, or if they drop something, the first thing the little ones say, not so much Oaks because I think he's older now and can articulate it, they say, "Don't tell Dad." And I'm like, and I have to like stand up for you, and I'm like, "Dad's not going to be upset with you. It's okay." And they're like, "Yes, he is. Don't tell him." And I'm like, "What do you think he's going to do?" I don't know, but he's just going to be really angry. And I think that comes from, we've spoken about this before, but your loud voice sounds angry. Like just you're like, "Hey, don't do that." It's like, "Hey, don't do that." Like it's very aggressive and intense sounding. And I don't think that's the intention that you're trying to put out there.
Right.
But that's scary. And I think like maybe that could be the yelling voice, and then the yelling voice would go away, the real yelling voice.
Right.
And that would be the warning voice. And you would only use that in situations that you felt like was necessary.
Right.
And then for everything else, if somebody spills something, it wouldn't be like, "Why did you do that?" And it's like, "I don't know, I'm free, I don't know, I fucking dropped a glass of milk," you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we all do that. We question children when we shouldn't, because we're like, "Why'd you do that?" "Oh, I don't know."
Right. Well, I think for me, it's hard to, and it has been in the past really hard for me to separate myself out from like that acute response of like, there's no time, there's no space between something happening and me going to yelling for me to take a pause, because
Right.
I never get beyond the yelling and I'm like, I mean, there's occasional times where I'm like, that was necessary, you know, where it was like he's running into traffic and it's like,
Right.
"No, stop," you know, like, or like he's about to hurt his brother more than he should. Like Arrow will lose it and he's about to like suffocate his 4-year-old brother, you know,
Yeah.
and like there needs to be a level to take it. But other than those very few times, anytime it goes there for like, yeah, you knocked a cup of milk off the table for the 6th time and it's like, what the fuck? Like,
right.
you know,
That's
like,
exactly that voice.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's like an exasperated, like it's like telling them in 2 words, like 3 words, that they're stupid, like, "Why did you do that?" And like, "You're in trouble," you know?
right. And I think that's the main one that I'm trying to get away from with the challenge. And I think
I haven't heard you sound, for a lack of a word, demeaning. How long has it been?
8 days.
8 for 8 days.
Hey, you know what though? It's like the $5 thing really helps, not because, for me, not because I fear about losing the money. It's more like it gives me one moment to pause. It's like there's something there, because like the first time I did it, there was no response. There was nothing in my head. But then I paid out the $5, like right in that 10 minutes. And genuinely, when I've gone to go to do it again, it's like there's this little thing in my head that's be like, "You can lose $5, you know. And I don't care about losing the $5, but it's that one little bit of space to think. It's been really helpful. I don't know why something that simple would be so helpful, but it has been.
Wow, I appreciate it. I think it's great.
Yeah. What if I did it forever?
Imagine that.
I think I can do it.
Wow.
We'll start with a month, but
Yeah.
I think we'll go
I mean,
forever.
I think you know the longer play on that is to, and I think that's why, you know, we talk about how like Forks, for example, like he can get away with stuff with me because I'm his safe space, and you're like, he would just never try that with me, and I think that's by design, right? Because I want them all to have a safe space. And it's not that you're not safe, but you're just like
My boundaries are more rigid,
more rigid. And I would say like I'm very consistently safe.
for sure.
Like they just know where they stand with me.
Yeah, they know how to get whatever they want. So is that what you said? I'm sorry. Is that how it would? No.
I mean, no, because I can definitely get upset. And,
I know. I'm just being a turd.
But so I think I would love for that to change. I would love for me to not feel like I'm having to protect my children from my husband.
Right.
You know, and it's not like that's not like the overarching thing that I feel like I'm doing, because it's not by any means. It sounds overly harsh, but there's an element of that for sure. And I think it was because of how I grew up. Like, I don't think kids should be scared of either parent, to answer your question before.
Right.
I think it's inherent that the father holds more power because, I mean, so many things. You're bigger, you have a lot of hair. I don't know why.
Well, not on my head, but
You're, you know, your voice is deep. You're more physically powerful. You physically wrestle them more than I do, and you're the guy that we go to for heavy manual labor.
damn straight.
Like, we have a pretty traditional relationship when it comes to male-female, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And so for like that should be enough for our kids to see that
Yeah.
that you're strong and potentially scary,
Yeah.
but that you'd never use it.
Right.
You need more attention.
All right. Well, we'll give him more attention.
Is that good?
That's good.